Okay, so the last little bit of notes, the last video you have to watch and listen to me talk. So for page 50, we are now going to talk about how we find our y-intercepts on a graph. So first off, the y-intercept is where your line, the one you graph, crosses the y-axis. We label that with the letter B, and so we say B equals. And so we're going to just look at this graph right here. Whoa, sorry guys. So looking at this graph, where do you notice that the graph crosses the y-axis? It's very obviously pointed out to you. It's circled and everything. So right here, remember the y-axis is the one that goes up and down. So right here at this point, that's where we cross the y-axis. That is point 0, 2, but we write it as b equals 2. In your formula, remember that it was y equals mx plus b. So right now we're worried about this last letter, the one that stands by himself. And so we can just fill in the formula that our b is 2. So the equation for that graph is y equals 3/4 x plus 2. Remembering that 3/4 is your slope and 2 is your y-intercept. We have 2 more examples we're doing together, and then you have activities that you'll be doing on your own. So looking at the graph, the first thing we always need to look for is our y-intercept. And if there are 2 options in your ordered pairs with the same y-intercept, you then will also have to find your slope. For this example, we're really only going to be worried about number 1, and you'll see why in a second. So where is our line crossing the y-axis in this example? It is crossing, remember b equals, it's crossing right here at point 1. So that point is 0, 1, and we write that b equals 1. So looking at your answer choices to figure out which graph or which equation meets this graph, we're going to be looking to see if that last spot, that b, is a 1. So in these examples, which one has b as a 1? It would be letter C. Okay. Keep in mind if your graph was down on -1, -1 would be the option, or -3 is an option. I know in our formula we write plus, but if we were to write plus -1, that's the same thing as just -1. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. Okay. All right. Last one. Here we go. So now we're going to kind of put together everything we've learned. I give you a table with values. Hopefully we remember what we have to do with these. We have to plot them. So this is 0.1, 4, 0.3, 6, and 0.5, 8. And now we need to graph them. So I go 1, 4, 3, 6, and 5, 8. Using your ruler, we are going to connect these points with our line, making sure again to extend the line as long as the graph or longer with arrows on both sides. And our last question of the day, at least in this video, it says, what is the y-intercept of this graph? So where are we crossing the y-axis? Looking at your graph, hopefully we see that we're crossing at 3. So we're just going to write b equals 3. Your y-intercept equals 3. Okay, so there are more problems again that you can be doing. There's one on page, or on the same page, number 2. And then On the next page, there's a bunch of options for you to be choosing your Y-Intercept as well. All of these will be answered on Google Classroom, and I strongly encourage that you do practice this, especially before next class, because we're going to keep moving. Okay, so what you're going to be working on for the rest of class is the rest of the playlist. There are activities around the room for you to work on. There's activities from last class for you to work on. And there's just a lot that you can be doing. You can listen to music with headphones, but that does not mean we're sitting there playing on our phone. We're not watching YouTube. We are not doing anything inappropriate. You are working on math for the rest of class. Okay? Have a wonderful day. Be on your best behavior. Please, please, please make me proud. I'll see you guys on Friday.